Hello everyone and good evening. My name is Lakshea Suresh, and today I'll be talking about how failure can drive you to success. To start us off, I want to ask you all a question that I want you to think very carefully about. How do you feel when making mistakes? Sad? Really stressed out? You don't care? Or you feel like it will completely ruin you? I mean completely. Well, these feelings are perfectly normal for any of us. But what if I told you that failure is not just a wall standing in your way? It's actually a staircase. You see, our brains work like a muscle. When you lift weight, your muscle gets tired, but it's actually getting stronger. Before you ask, of course it's getting stronger, that's common sense. Well, hear me out on this. How is your muscle going to get stronger if it's not going to get tired? And same way, how are you going to reach success without making mistakes? I want you to keep that in mind throughout my TED Talk. Failure is not just exercise for our brains because whenever we make mistakes, our brains create new pathways that avoid the same mistake that we made in the past. Like, for example, on a test. Raise your hand if you do not like math tests that much. Okay, that's some of you. Well, let's say you have a really hard maths coming up, and you do your best to study pretty hard for it, but in the end, you only got a 60%. Well, I'm sure some of us in here would feel like crumpling up the paper and hurling it into the nearest trash can. But trust me when I say this, don't. Instead, look over the paper, see what you got wrong, and ask yourself, how did I get this wrong? What did I do to get this wrong? And how can I fix this next time? These questions help transform your errors into learning opportunities and prevent the repetition of careless mistakes. And I mean this when I say it, don't be afraid to check with your teacher if you got a question wrong and you have a question on it. Remember, your teacher is there to help you blossom, to help you grow, not to embarrass you in front of the whole class. And this way, you can slowly move up that staircase of success by using mistakes as vital stepping stones to reach it. Well, I'm positive that I can be saying this throughout my life experience. Can I? When I was younger and in second grade, I dealt with a lot of stress. I always tensed out so much before taking my tests that I eventually wore myself out before even looking over the questions. And this way, you can probably guess that I didn't do that well on my tests. Because I was scared of making a simple mistake. I was scared my parents would scold me, or my friends would make fun of me just because I'm not as smart as them. But what I didn't realize then was the power of making mistakes. With the help of my parents, I started to review on what I had gotten wrong on my tests. And I always kept in mind that making mistakes isn't that bad. It can truly help you grow. And I realized that in your staircase success, there are several missing steps in there. And how do you fill them in, you might ask? Make those mistakes and feel free to make them. And that's how you truly reach success. And now, focusing hard and never giving up, in 6th grade, I am proud to be a part of NJHS. Thank you, teachers, for accepting me into it. And now, when you look at famous people, you probably think, wow, they were born to succeed. Well, guess what? You're wrong. Let's take Thomas Edison, for example. He was that person who invented the light bulb. But he actually failed 1,000 times, yes, 1,000 times, before getting the final product right. You might think, he didn't give up? Yes, he didn't. That's why we have light in this gym today. That's why we have light in our homes today. Because he didn't let those failures take him down. He let them bring him up. And this is why he's such a famous person. And you can be too. If you don't let those mistakes take you down, just let them guide you and act as a second teacher to you. Even a famous quote from him states that, I have not failed. I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work. This quote shows that he didn't view those 1,000 ways as simply walls standing in your way. He viewed them as those missing steps to fill in his staircase. And that's why he's amazing. That's why you all know him. So, when you walk out of this gym today, I want you to stop asking, what if I fail? Instead, start asking, what will I learn if I do? Don't go straight up that staircase success, because there are so many missing steps in there. First, fill them in. Feel free to make those mistakes. And that's how you truly reach success. Thank you.